Xena Warrior Podcast. My name is Vera, and I'm joined, as always, by my two copper-colored co-hosts, Katie.
Hi.
And Livy.
Hi.
Felt like we needed to throw in that last color that was missing from this episode in terms of the medals you get at the Olympics.
Isn't Xena's outfit a bit, well, it's bronzy.
Oh, you're right, I guess.
I think you got some gold, some silver, and some bronze.
Yeah, and she's back in it.
She's back in her classic costume.
Yep.
And it feels like a big moment.
Yay!
I guess so.
I was surprised how emotional I got to see it. And just, like she's doing a lot of stunts and she has the nice hairband. It all felt sort of classic and even a little retro. It was a happy making look.
She's back. Yay. Well, today we're going to be talking about 514 Amphipolis Under Siege. Are you guys excited?
Yes.
Very.
This one's good.
This episode, I would say, has one of my favorite moments in the whole show.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
And it's definitely one of the best of this season.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Because of how you're a certain fangirl of a certain somebody.
That is true, and you do know what I mean. But yeah, I obviously this is in the same way that Xena is fighting and wearing her old outfit, this is a return to form for the show, and you really feel it. It feels just like such a jolt of energy. The last few episodes have been pretty darn good. We've had a good time talking about them, but this one to me just feels like the firing on all cylinders Xena that we love to talk about. There's so much going on, and basically all of it is interesting and good.
Yeah, I completely agree. Katie, you as well?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Great. We are all on the same page. So let's get into it. This one's written by Chris Black, a new person.
New name. He also is going to go on to write You Are There in season 6, also an episode I like. He has done a lot of television, both before and since Xena. He was on Weird Science, Sliders, Star Trek Enterprise, and then he went on to have a high-level role on Desperate Housewives, Reaper, Ugly Betty, Mad Men, and he's currently the EP on Outcast.
Wow, yeah, the Mad Men, that one does not, fit with the rest.
I mean, actually, it's kind of a diverse spread. There's genre, there's drama, there's comedy, and you know what? I think that totally fits with this episode, which actually is quite funny, very interesting, dramatic beats. It's just all around a very well-sculpted episode. So this guy's good stuff, though it needs to be pointed out. Several facts need to be pointed out. One, this is the first episode that RJ
is back
for.
Yes. Oh, okay, cool.
And I think you feel that.
Yes.
You feel like this episode is just so connected to Xena continuity, to kind of the central moral questions.
Yeah. And it's just very good.
There's even, I think, one shady little wink about Back in the Bottle. So put a pin in that.
Okay.
I can't wait to bring that up.
That's awesome.
So RJ's back, and of course that also means that Kurtzman and Orsi they're out of here. You notice their names are not in the credits. They are no longer involved. In Xena, they went on to Jack of all trades.
Okay, have fun there, guys. Bye. You will not be missed. And this is Chris Black, a dude, as we mentioned.
Yes.
Not
Chris Black.
A lady. Another lady. No.
Sorry.
And this is directed by Mark Beasley. The bees is back in business.
This is the second bees in a row. Oh, man. Oh, jeez.
I liked it. I think you can do that. It's fine. Yeah.
You can work on that one.
No, it's good.
This is a very well-directed episode.
Yeah, this is, I would say, classic Beasley. This is the kind that I knew and fell in love with in Legend of the Seeker. So much slow-mo, so much fighting, looking good, just so hot. I love it. So let's begin. So this episode starts with a bunch of bored soldiers guarding Prince Dameron's road. Whatever.
This was confusing because this is a name that they drop early on. I was like, okay, Prince Dameron, got it. An important character to
we're going to go to his kingdom,
but
Dameron's kingdom.
We never find out what.
No.
It's just a place. Just a random place.
He just owns a road, I guess.
To Amphipolis.
Kind of a bummer because do the people from Amphipolis have to like pay this toll every time they go to their house?
Yeah, dude. You have to pay tolls every time you go to your house. That's how life works.
You're right, I guess. Dang. So I liked that some of these guys are like, oh, I don't want this watch. Nothing ever happens.
Yeah, nice little detail.
Yeah, and then you hear like some rustling and like a lot is going to happen.
A lot of clankety clank.
All right.
Oh my God. That outfit doesn't even look like it would clink, for one thing.
You're right, because it's like made out of plastic. And it fucking looks that way.
It's made out of lingerie.
Oh my God. What did you guys like decide to call her, besides her name, obviously? Like, out steps a sexy tin lady.
I call her Lampshade.
Lampshade?
Her hat looks like my grandmother's lampshade. You know that lampshade with the fringe?
Oh yeah.
You know?
Well, did they reuse the hair bangs and they just colored them silver for this?
These are definitely
from like the Amazon.
Some even more egregious headbangs.
Yeah. This is just rough immediately, this outfit and this whole situation. Mm-hmm. So this like silver bitch comes out.
Oh, and the makeup is really bad. I feel I would have almost been okay with it if not for that horrible silver eye situation.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought that made it look even cheaper. If that were possible.
Oh yeah, speaking of cheaper, my note was that she looks like the lady cyber woman from Torchwood.
She does.
Like, very terrible.
A great terrible thing.
Yep.
In the history of terrible things.
So the soldiers like see her and immediately perk up because it's like a lady and she's sexy.
And she's flirting with them. She's working it.
So there's like all this innuendo about paying the toll.
I'm sure we can work something out.
No.
Yeah. Yep.
So these dudes are gross. And I whenever I see a scene like this, I'm immediately on the side of the female character who's like kind of being harassed. But then like she summons a whole bunch of ladies in their lingerie tennis outfits.
Clankety clanking down.
Which makes no sense. They are wearing like little cloth skirts. Why are they clanking so much?
Because like
metal.
the silver, it's supposed to be metal.
Mystical metal that, looks it's just like plastic.
I have referred to it as an impractical nightmare for these people are supposed to be archers hiding in the woods. How are you going to hide and you're just clanketing?
Silver outfits.
All over the place. You can't hide from anyone or follow anyone.
I really want to know the thought process.
Do not look very good for fighting, and
it's not supposed to be looking like it's not supposed to be practical, you guys. This is like
can it look at least a tiny bit practical?
I mean, we don't know who they are yet.
That's
we don't.
True.
They're the silver bitches,
but they're clearly meant to be formidable. As soon as there are a whole group of them, you're not supposed to laugh. You're supposed to be like, oh shit.
They just look like they're in like a B outer space movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
they really do.
I don't understand.
Jane Holland, this one is maybe your worst.
This is the worst.
Honestly, if
I'm sorry.
I'm not. Again,
okay.
Like when I think of her, I think of this. Like this was so egregious to me.
This is the epitome of like when
the worst.
I feel like the costumes are like distracting from how good everything is.
Yeah, the actors are very good. I think Musetta Vander here as Elena's coming out is a really fun character.
Can we get this out of the way as well?
Yeah, let's do it.
What a horrible name.
Elena's.
Like, Elena's?
You just wait.
Saying it,
you just wait for the ship name to be dropped later.
You got one, Vera?
Yeah, put a pin in it.
Oh, man, I'm excited.
I don't know if this is some kind of historical ancient name or what. But just is not my favorite.
I think it's Elaine with an S at the end. So.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Should we just call her Elaine?
All right, she's Elaine. Jerry and Elaine. Is that the ship name?
That's okay. It's just, Elaine is not working for me as a name. Oh, no.
So, I mean, this is a fun moment just because you kind of get the feminist kind of inversion where the woman who seems like she might be in a position of powerlessness is actually like just fucking with these dudes.
Right.
And they have these compound bows, and they're all gonna fire simultaneously.
Right.
When
Xena!
Xena's chakra cuts their arrows in half.
This is such a great. I love her busted in here in slow mo for like maybe no reason, and her hair is like tossing all over, and then she like growls.
Yeah, she hisses in slow mo.
she has the cat scream, which is my favorite. Just
but in slow mo.
But yeah, in slow mo, just to make it extra good.
Yep. I think she, missed this. She's feeling like she's back as well.
She's feeling herself. Her hair looks fabulous. Like, it's feeling itself. She's wearing her old costume, as mentioned. Just everything about this is just so glorious.
That's what the slow-mo is for. It's not for no reason.
I think
to highlight.
I think it's just so you can just kind of like lather it into your body. Just like, ooh, I love this.
Yes,
love it.
The silver bitch, she sends like the arrows at Xena, and Xena has this moment where she blocks them with the chakram.
Oh yeah, it was cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah, all of them. She's just like bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
This is weird though. Can I just mention how weird this is?
Sure.
Like, okay, so the dynamics of the scene is that we had lady who was getting creeped on by some creepy dudes. Mm-hmm. She brought out an army of awesome ladies firing on the creepy dudes.
I guess they're awesome.
Then Xena comes in on the side of the creepy dudes and fights off the ladies.
Yeah, it is odd.
I was very just like, what is happening? This is not expected. Which, I mean, is I would say a point in this episode's favor, because a lot of this is going to be about an awesome female antagonist who you actually sort of like and sympathize with, and Xena's fighting her, and it sort of sucks.
Yep.
Like, even as, you get why Xena's doing it. So I like that, this is a moment where, like, Xena's defending some dudes who kind of seem shitty, but, like, do they deserve to be arrowed by a bunch of, like, ladies in lingerie? Maybe not. I don't know.
Does she know what the outfits mean? Like, is that a known fact?
She seems to know that they
because that would explain
associated with a god.
So then that immediately explains why she would go on the side of, like, the dudes.
Yeah, I mean, I get why she would, but at the same time...
They're so sparkly and terrible. Yeah. She's like, no thanks.
You can definitely see another episode where, an all-female army, that Xena would be on their side.
So she starts fighting a bunch of these silver bitches, and you see in the bushes Gabs is holding Eve, and I love this. We're just like, mommy's working.
I also just love we've gone through probably like 10 episodes in a row where Gabs had to shoulder the burden of the fight scenes,
and she will later again.
But it's nice to give her a little break. New division of labor,
and also you go back to like when she was like just hanging out watching in the bushes by herself. Now she has like another little Xena admirer with her.
The peanut gallery is getting a little bigger.
And she's worried Eva's going to give them away.
Oh, right. I mean, yeah.
So cute. That's what happens when you have a baby around. Just talking about
Katie's like waiting for this baby to leave.
Impractical is all I'm saying.
It's another reason why this episode is good, because it's like...
Can't she have it all?
This episode's like about the baby, but the baby's not like in it all that much.
That's
That's a good way of playing it.
Right. Okay, so Xena fights like Elaine.
No, that's not nice. That's her name. Her name is Elanis.
Elaine,
what can you do?
The main silver bitch, and she draws some blood. She gives her a little scratchy on the old cheek.
I love that she's so freaked out by that, Elanis. She clearly never gets hurt.
No, yeah, and I thought it was interesting because like the last time we had so much attention paid on like a blood speck on a cheek, it was like little Eve.
Ooh, that's an interesting parallel.
So like it's weird. She gets cut and immediately she's like, retreat to all the silver bitches, and they go away. And Xena's like, this is a little weird. And then like, is like, okay, whatever, we're not going to chase them. Turns around and starts helping like the soldiers who were guarding the road. And the guy who was like creepy, like, I'm sure we can work something out, that guy, he got arrowed like it looked like he got arrowed in his lung. Like, it was like, you know, in his chest. And Xena goes and, like, puts a little pinch on there to help with the pain.
He's fine.
Yeah, the guy stands up holding, like, the arrow. You know that trick where you're, like, the actor's just holding it?
Xena realizes that they're trying to seize the road to Amphipolis. That's what this is. That's why this army has attacked this stupid little outpost.
And also the arrow signals that they're with...
Well, first she's like, Ares.
Yeah, she assumes it's Ares again. And then he shows up and he's like, nah, it ain't me.
Right, but don't forget, he also offers his services once again.
This is the 3rd episode in a row where he has put this offer forward, or a version of the offer forward.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, you're accusing the wrong god. And she goes to that guy who has that arrow, like, in his chest and just, like, pulls it out, like, without thinking or doing it. Like, just grabs it.
Put the pinch on it?
Yeah, but, like, it's not even, like, in his shoulder. It's, like, straight up in his chest, sticking out in the middle of his chest. It's just weird. She just grabs it and the guy's like, ah!
Look, this dude sucks, and I don't care if he bleeds out and dies.
So, yeah, she looks at the arrow, and it's, oh my god, it's the arrow of Athena! Ah!
Ooh. And we know that because it's got the Versace logo on it.
Oh, shit!
You know Athena loves her Versace.
Oh my god, I think that might explain her outfit a little bit now. Holy shit.
It's very high fashion.
Oh my god. So, all right, there's all this thought put into this now. Mind blown. Jane Holland, you're a genius.
2 silver. Sorry.
2 gold. Athena's gold.
Athena goes
Athena.
full gold.
Full
But
gold.
the rest of her army is all silver.
Yeah.
They all look like they're going to play tennis. It's something about the length of the skirt and the pleat situation on it. They just all look like they're at the country club.
Oh my god. I'm pretty sure you can't wear silver playing tennis at a country club. They would not be allowed on the court.
So this is actually very in line with classical depictions of Athena, who carries the Gorgon on her shield. It's mentioned in the Iliad.
I thought you were going to say, like, these outfits.
Wearing the dumb outfit.
Yeah, me too. I was like, oh,
Bright-eyed goddess Athena appears in her stupid gold outfit that looks as if it were made of plastic.
Oh my god. So that's cool that that's a detail that was
and
legit,
it's so
actually.
worked into her costume, and I do. Here's one note in favor of Jane Holland. I like the imaginative use of Medusa, like in the breastplate, like the snakiness.
Yeah,
of
and
the
hair.
necklace.
The hair also kind of looked like little braids that were snaking around her head.
There was a lot of thought put into like how to, make this a cool outfit. I just hate just the whole like whatever she uses to construct these things. It looks so bad, and it's definitely too booby and too short.
Too booby. Paris Jefferson, our Athena, actually was like, this is the greatest cleavage I've ever had in any show or production of anything. This costume rocks. Literally
Paris.
said that.
Okay,
Paris.
good
for her. She enjoyed it.
She is so
she
good.
She said Jane made her well endowed.
This is one of the things that's so frustrating about this costume, because this actress, Paris Jefferson, is so good. She's such
so good,
dignity and presence, and then she's wearing this stupid outfit, and you're she's awesome.
Yeah. My note is outfits are an abomination.
Oh, boy.
I looked up Paris Jefferson to see what else she's about. She seems to do a lot of work on the stage in London.
Cool.
But she's also in this movie that's coming out this year called Sunset Contract, which I watched the trailer for, and it looked hilarious, but she looked really good in it. She plays the devil.
Ooh.
She wears like this red sheath dress and hangs out by a pool and seems to have made some kind of deal with like a tech guy.
Oh my god.
And she just keeps showing up in his mansion, like taunting him.
Is this the movie she's
tech
nominated
stuff.
for the BFI? Like
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. So I recommend watching the trailer for this film, Sunset Contract. She looked like she was having a ton of fun, and isn't it funny that the actress who goes from playing Athena then plays Satan? Good shit.
She's really good. I can't say enough great things about her.
Also, I love her relation with Elena's, who now rides up to report to her.
Yeah, we get a little glimpse of something here.
One of the first things you really see Athena do is, like, be upset that Elena's is injured and heal her. So, this is a very, like, sympathetic introduction to the character.
Yeah.
You immediately like her. And ship it, obviously.
Right.
Obviously being, like, a great word because it is really
obvious.
Everything in this episode and these two and Xena Gabs is all very, very, very close to the surface.
Yes.
So obvious to many, I would imagine.
Is this good or bad?
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. It feels like the show again.
Again?
Like in the way that it hasn't in a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially when we get to like the Xena and Gabrielle stuff later. But like certainly there are parallels here with these two.
Yeah.
And those are such interesting parallels because, again, these are the antagonists for the episode. So to see our fave ladies sort of reflected in this funhouse mirror, you like these two women and, you want them to be okay.
So what are their OTP words are in this?
Yeah, come on, Vera. What's
their
their
OTP
ship name?
Yeah,
too?
you have my favor.
Oh, yeah, you have my favor.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah, that's important.
That's very important.
Oh, they also give away the game, like in the beginning.
Right, it was all a trap. Like
just not to spoil
exactly.
anybody immediately. But like the whole exchange of this thing is just like, oh, you're my fave, but like, ooh, you're so mortal. It's just basically the scene. Your cheek. I can fix that one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sad.
Yeah, and then also they kind of reveal that it was all a trap originally for Xena to, I guess,
lure her to
Amphipolis. Yeah.
Yes, because they want to cut it off. There's a lot of traps in this episode.
It's true.
Do we need some kind of it's a trap?
It's a trap.
Like count.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so here's the first trap. I like Athena's line, the most dangerous animal on earth is a mother protecting her young.
Because that was like a little piece of wisdom she imparted to Elena's because she's the goddess of wisdom.
Oh, nice one, Vera.
And weaving.
And weaving, don't forget the weaving. So wait, what's their ship name?
So their ship name is Athena's.
No.
Oh, boy.
No.
It's very bad.
Oh.
No. Can it be something else? Elena?
Too close.
That's
Sure.
definitely Athena's.
Yep.
Anyway, Mama Bear stuff is a trope, but it's a trope I have no problems with at all because I feel like it's a true trope.
Yeah, of
The
course.
end.
And I mean, when Xena's a mom, of course she's going to be
when you're good
a
and
protector.
you care, let's say. Yes.
So Athena is like, in the name of Zeus, I will kill the child myself. And you're like, oh shit, this is what this episode's
Zeus
about.
is dead.
Yeah.
Vengeance for me, Bobby.
Oh my god. Maybe explain that one.
I don't even know if I could explain that.
It's
in
a
joke.
Simpsons.
It's a Simpsons
yeah.
reference.
Yeah. That's easy. Okay, so Xena and Gabs are riding to Amphipolis. Xena arrives and shouts for her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is great.
I love how they roll on it on their horses and jump off.
Yeah.
And Gabs is on her horse again. I love
Yay,
when Gabs
horse.
is on her horse.
Oh, handsome.
Yeah, handsome.
Handsome the horse.
Hello, handsome.
Xena unstraps Eve from her backpack.
Oh, Gabs does it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Good
but
point.
Xena kind of calls for help. She's like,
Yeah,
they
she's
like
like, help.
it takes two people to get this backpack off.
Yeah, because then Gabs has Eve when Cyrene appears.
Cyrene, my love, you're back. I love Cyrene. Oh my god, I'm so happy that she gets to meet her grandkid, and she's so shady about it.
Oh, shit.
Well, I mean, she's like, oh, well, it's nice how she's just like, thank you for bringing her, which is like, geez,
Yeah.
like you weren't
You
gonna
didn't
come
bring
with
me the other
yeah,
one.
but she couldn't with that one.
my God.
Like that was like an obvious, you know.
I
but
mean, they
like,
weren't
here
even
we're just like,
talking back then.
well, was she not thinking of visiting home? Of course she was.
I like how she's like holding the baby, like, who's your nana?
Well, this is so funny because Xena is very seriously like talking about evacuating, getting everyone to safety, and Cyrene is just going gushy.
Yeah,
Doesn't hear a word of it. It's a very good gag.
Yeah, and then Xena like rushes her out of frame to safety.
I love just how badass and yet embarrassing Cyrene is. It's such a great combo.
It's perfect. So then we find out that Athena has like a big ass army surrounding Amphipolis. She got legions from Rome and Cleopatra's royal guard.
Yeah.
What?
Are they setting up some Antony and Cleopatra?
Yeah, they're like, oh, Cleopatra's going to be on this later.
And then soldiers from Britannia as well. I feel like this was literally just, they went into the prop closet and they were like, what
can we find?
What armors do we have? And how can we explain their usage here?
Yeah, and then, of course, don't forget Athena's own elite guard, the Silver Bitches.
Oh my god.
But you know what? I kind of like this because I felt like this whole episode is very big on continuity. You get a lot of mentions of things that they totally like did not have to mention. They kind of go out of their way to like pull threads from early Xena episodes like into this. Like later Cyrene's mention of Lycius, a character who we literally have not heard mentioned probably in like 3 seasons.
But she does not mention Taurus.
She does not mention Taurus, thank goodness. We've forgotten him. So I feel like having legions from Rome and Britannia, these are sort of like Xena's greatest hits that you're quickly hitting, being like, don't you love those episodes and don't you love that episodes, and we're bringing it all together, and they're all coming down on Amphipolis, which is the first location you really remember from Sins of the Past. So there's a lot of Xena's history, I think, in this episode, and that kind of goes with it being this sort of like back to basics, like we need this show to be itself again. What can we do?
Nice.
So Ares swaggers up to Athena, like, and they're looking at this kind of like little model
diorama thingy that you make. We have to like do a little battle. Like remind me of something that I made for like Civil War.
Cool.
Like,
you made
battles.
this?
That's nice.
No, it wasn't. But I'm just saying it had that quality.
It reminded me of the models that Mr. Brady used to make for his architecture stuff.
Oh yeah. Anyway, it's a map.
Yeah, it's like a 3D map of Amphipolis.
It's nice to see strategy. You don't often see, like, these moments of just characters strategizing around a table.
Right. I mean, Ares kind of, like, offers his help here, and it's unsolicited. Mm-hmm. And then Elenus is like, Athena doesn't need your help. And he's like, nor any man's, it seems.
Yeah. I mean, I love how Elenus is so, kind of, like, defending Athena to him. Like, is almost more aggressive than Athena, like kind of fighting her battles for her. Mm-hmm. I liked that about Elenus. She's a good girlfriend.
She's very devoted, like, in all sense of the word.
Yeah. And then Athena's face in the background is just like, she just like gives no shits. She's just side-eyeing the fuck out of Ares. It's fabulous.
Right.
I like their relation, her and Ares. There's some good siblinginess to them.
Did you feel like, who's older here?
I mean, definitely one of these two characters is wiser. But then again, later...
she was just born that way.
It shifts. I mean, this is interesting, because at first you really feel like Athena's got it together, and Ares seems desperate and ridiculous. But later he's going to make some valid points that make you wonder.
Okay. Well, he's grown, as a character and as a man.
Athena has heard tell that he, has grown as a man and is now way into Xena, and it's clouded his judgment or whatever. And that rumor has it that he offered to spare the child.
How does she know this?
Out? Is this just like they know from being gods on Olympus?
Yeah,
like they just
the Olympian grapevine.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, how does he did she watch the last episode?
Yeah, I think they probably just watch episodes of Xena, so that's how they know things. But I love that Elenus then is like, and rumor has it that she turned you down.
Yeah, it's lots of burns.
A sick burn.
Yeah. I like that, like, later there was a line where he basically said that to Xena, like, you got burned, you want to put a poultice on it?
Yeah, he did! He was mocking her about burns! Love it.
Ares asks her why she's not attacking the city already, and Athena says that the people of Amphipolis are loyal to her, and that they will deliver Xena's baby on their own, and she doesn't want to spill, like, extra blood, when she doesn't have to.
Yeah, which again is a pretty sympathetic way of treating the character. She seems A, smart, that's a good plan, and B, you appreciate that she's not just going around attacking people willy-nilly.
Yeah. Do you guys get a sense that, like, the gods, kind of each take turn, like, today I'm gonna try to kill Xena's baby. Like,
it is true. They really should just all combine forces.
I mean, they do later.
Happens, but they know they can't do it till the season finale. So I love Mark Beasley probably thought this up, the decision to fade from the model of Amphipolis to Xena in Cyrene's Tavern. I thought that was
really cool. It was like you zoom in on the little model and then dissolve and we're like in it.
Yeah, and you're aware of kind of that makes you scared. Like Xena's like, you know, a little plaything on a game board that the god can just look down on. It reminds me of a famous cut in The Shining. Where Jack is looking at the model of the maze, and then it becomes the maze itself.
Nice.
So, nice cinematic reference if it's intentional.
Yeah, they use this kind of element a couple times in this episode, and I thought it was always a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, there's some really good visual storytelling up in here. I feel like everything about this episode is high IQ. It's very well put together.
Well, this next scene is really good, and I think, Liv, you like this scene.
One of my favorite scenes in all of Xena.
I agree. I didn't really remember it.
Yeah, it got me so, like, I literally had to just, like, put my notes down.
And, collect yourself.
Like, take
a cold shower.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's, you know, it's not original. There's a pretty famous cinema forerunner for a scene like this, which is Casablanca, the Marseillaise.
Yeah.
But man, it just still gets you. In part because I really just, you know, that the song is so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a Bulgarian song. I can't pronounce it, but Glede, my Glede.
Sure.
And we first heard it in Sins of the Past, and we talked about it in the podcast back then about how that's, you know, that's the sound of Xena's homeland and her childhood, you know, and it's all women. So you feel like it's this, you know, female power song.
Yeah.
And to have Cyrene singing that, it just kind of bursts out of her, too. It's a really great, if that's Darian singing, she did a really good job, because, like, it's beautiful.
Chills. All right, well, before that actually happens, leaping way ahead, Xena is basically like, sorry guys, there's just this army over there.
She says, like, the last thing I wanted to do was, like, bring an army on your heads.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Oh
we know, bitch. This is, like, trauma from your childhood.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote down here. I was like, oh my god, this should just be like the worst, like, PTSD situation of, like, having this to, like, defend this town again.
Yeah, this is the third time this has happened. Poor Xena.
Yeah, I'm sure, like, everybody in the town is like, oh, she's back again. We have to be nice to Cyrene because she's, like, our only bar in town. But, like, damn, we hate her daughter.
And, you know, we've just come off the scene where clever Athena was like, the townspeople will hand the baby over to us.
Yeah.
And honestly, thinking back to Sins of the Past, you're like, yeah, they will.
Yeah, totally.
These guys are not going to be on Xena's side here. So this is just such a wonderful upending of your expectations.
Yeah. So the audience here is, you know, all the townspeople. They're like farmers and crops people.
Yeah.
Their jobs you do in a little village.
Waitresses in the tavern.
Yeah. And, you know, some of them start saying stuff like, hey, we heard stories about this Eli dude.
See, again, a reference. It's very noticeable that Eli isn't mentioned in God-Fearing Child. So I liked that RJ comes back and suddenly you're actually weaving the religions together in a tighter way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, this dude resurrected you guys. Like, we definitely...
super weird, and we're not sure how we feel about that.
And this is all in response to Xena just being adamant that she's not sacrificing her baby, like, for... She explicitly goes after, and we've mentioned in the past, like, her feelings about the Olympian gods, which is interesting given, like, her, like, reactions and stuff in this scene, like, that she doesn't really care so much about them, and, like, just calls them selfish and, like, people who don't care about any of the suffering that they cause, which is why the guy starts talking about Eli, who would represent the opposite.
Right, and he's like, is it true that the age of the Olympian gods is over? And then Gabs pipes in, because, you know, they mentioned Eli. So she's like, yep, it's true. Eli's the best.
He fought with love. So that's the difference that Katie's kind of saying. The selfishness of the Greek gods versus the selfless love of Eli.
Yeah, and the guy responds with, like, we're not soldiers, Xena, but if your daughter is the one to bring about Eli's word, we'll do our best to protect her.
Which is interesting, because that makes it seem like the villagers are already worshippers of Eli, or at least prospective worshippers of Eli.
Well, it makes it seem like they're kind of, like, either fed up with, the Olympian gods.
And it sounds like, yeah, they are.
Or they're just very easily, like, persuaded
like,
to jump to a new religion.
Okay, we're converting.
Yeah, they're easily converted. So at that moment, you see some golden light, and then Athena appears.
And Athena, once again, has, I think, a pretty reasonable argument. She kind of convinces Xena of being selfish. For her baby, she's willing to deprive these people of their gods, their faith, their kind of way of living.
I mean, it is weird that she knows very well that this is Xena's baby and seems to be like, previously she said that there's nothing more dangerous than a mother protecting her child or whatever. And yet she says stuff like, oh, you're willing to, sacrifice all these people just for one child, as if it's like some random child, not like your own child.
I mean, she's not talking to Xena really there. She's talking to the people. She's trying to get the people to think of Xena as being this selfish woman who just, like, would risk all their lives for this one baby.
But even what she's already saying, like, because she's still before saying that she was, like, pretty confident in their faith in her and whatnot, but it's already seemed like it's undercut. Well, I mean, only one guy was talking, but if he was representing the village, then, like, everything she's saying is already, like, I mean, she's making a good point, but you already feel like the village isn't on her side. So.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like Athena hasn't read the room too well.
No.
So, speaking of not having read the room too well, Cyrene, who is holding Eve in this scene. Yes. Very good decision on the part of the blocking, I think.
Right, and it's behind Xena, yeah.
She says, hasn't this village given up enough of its children? I've already lost a son and a grandson I've never even met. There's some more show continuity that didn't have to be there, but is there. This lady loves to guilt trip. She says, I won't give up this child, not even for the gods themselves. And then when Athena tries to rally the good people, Cyrene busts out with this song.
Right, because the villagers look slightly nervous.
Yeah, I think that, this god is standing among them being like, come on, guys.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like Eli's there making any promises.
Did you want to talk about that Casablanca scene a little more?
Oh, yeah. It's
famous,
so good.
But just describe, like, what's going on there, because...
Yeah, so they're in Rick's, which is... Yeah,
Rick,
not that Rick.
Bar American.
Yeah, Bar American. And it's full of Nazis, because they've occupied Morocco. This is set during World War II, if you haven't seen Casablanca. And, it's so good. They're singing some Nazi song.
Mm-hmm.
And
Tomorrow Belongs to Me.
No, not the song from Cabaret.
And Victor, who is a leader of the resistance who's on the run, is like, okay, we're going to, do a song off. We're going to, fight them with our song. So he starts leading everybody else in the Marseillaise, and the Marseillaise just takes over. It's this great swelling moment. And my favorite little part of it is there's this one character who is she's French and she's dating a Nazi. She's being a collaborator. And she starts singing the Marseillaise with real emotion, and there's tears streaming down her face,
no.
and it's such a good moment.
Is he gonna break up with her later?
I hope she breaks up with him. I think she realized national pride.
I feel it's gonna be rough for her though later, regardless. This is a very similar moment, isn't it?
Using a song to kind of militarize in a non-violent way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, passive resistance at its best.
And it's so beautiful. Yeah. Cyrene starts singing, and immediately the rest of the villagers join. And this is including the men now. Mm-hmm. So this is,
true. It's a different version of the song.
Right, yeah.
Previously, so I called it the laundry song. I thought they were doing their laundry. I think they're actually picking up they were doing some harvesting. Yeah, it's their harvest song. But I looked up the lyrics for this because, like I said, it's in Bulgarian, and they're really beautiful. Here are the lyrics, according to YouTube, which obviously is an expert.
Yep.
Look at me, delicate tulip. Look right at me. Today I am here, delicate tulip. Tomorrow I will no longer be here.
Wow. Is this like Amphipolis' national anthem? It becomes like based on this moment?
Maybe. Which is sad then. It sounds like, a song about parents leaving their children.
Mm. Well, it was very powerful and super meaningful. And Xena, who gets all these reaction shots, is touched. Like, she's to touched. Tears.
She looks also, there's that. And she's like so moved. Yeah. And then also like a little scared, I think. Yeah.
Well, she's she's been on the receiving end of this village's ire from so much of her life. And then to kind of hear this upswelling of, sort of essence of Amphipolis, she's sort of like, I'm scared of this. I know what this is like.
Yeah, and the
it's
fact
it's
that...
It's noticeable that she's not singing. Neither she nor Gabrielle joins in the song.
Gabs doesn't know the song.
That's true.
But I feel like for Xena, so much is like going through her head. Number one, she's like, well, shit, this is for real now. Like this, there will be a war.
They've just pissed off Athena.
That's true.
Who gets really worried. She starts being like, I'll give you my blessing, like personally, if you just give me this baby. And they're like, nope, singing.
Yeah, they're like drowning her out.
And she's just like, well, all right. You chose your fucking fate. Bye.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's true. And you're right. This is exactly what happened long ago, which is Xena rallied the town, kind of took responsibility for them and led them into battle. And look how well that turned out.
It did not.
So, and then like for her again, this is like the first time she has to do this again now since then. And
that's
like,
right. They refused to help her in sins of the past. So this is finally, I think of this as like the moment where Xena is truly forgiven. Right. She's been looking for redemption. I point to this moment as Xena's redemption. Her hometown finally stands by her.
Yeah, but I mean, like, for her, it's a really big moment because, she is, I'm sure, remembering herself leading this town to their deaths, like, back in the day, and then, like, having the whole show and her redemption arc and stuff like that. So it's, like, a huge moment for her.
Yeah, a lot of feels.
Very good scene.
Like I said. One of my very faves, and coming in season 5, which hasn't exactly been the sort of material that could have, one of the greatest scenes in the whole show. It really just comes out of nowhere and punches you in the face. Yeah. You're just like, holy shit.
So, I mean, speaking of which, like, immediately we cut to this battle, and we have, like, the villagers now are soldiers, and you have this dramatic turnaround, and it's Gabs who's leading them.
Mm-hmm. That zoom up. That hill. Whee!
Yeah.
So, of course, that makes you think of a Glede, where this was such an issue that she didn't want to do it and then did it, and it didn't work out so well. Here she's doing it without any problems, without any doubts.
Yeah, and she doesn't have, like, a hilarious helmet. So it all looks good.
It does look good. I love those wide shots where she's, like, running with the whole line.
Oh, my God. That stuff is incredible.
She's got a staff.
She has a staff with pointy spears at both ends.
Yeah.
So it's like...
I don't think you see her use
She doesn't use this pointies, but the fact that they're there is different.
I saw a commenter, I forget where now.
Like a hammer, but they're not there yet.
I saw a commenter refer to the staff as maybe a reference to Return of Callisto, like tying the blades to her staff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't think she was thinking about that. But
when she broke them off.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was episode 3.
Oh, yeah.
Now she's just got big giant ones.
Yeah. She's not using them. And she's obviously willing to kill to protect Eve.
So she orders her guys, they have a catapult, I guess.
Yeah.
Amphipolis in the garage, found one. She orders them to fire, and you see like these barrels of like explodiness erupt over the soldiers.
Yeah, that's cool.
Was it Greek fire or no?
I guess that's the implication. There certainly is some Greek fire up in
this
here.
Episode.
And like later, Gabs is going to make a bomb. We're not told what's in that, but there's clearly explosives around.
Yeah, and so she's leading this charge. We mentioned these amazing wide shots of her in action. and it's a frontal assault on one of Athena's best units.
So then you have this good little conversation between Elenis and Athena about this particular strategy of Gabrielle and Xena's. Elenis is like, oh, it's got to be a diversion, right? And Athena's like, no, Gabrielle is leading the attack, and Xena would never risk her second in command on a suicidal feint. And Elenis is like, no, if Xena commands even half the loyalty you do, my goddess, then Gabrielle would surely lay down her life to ensure Xena's escape. You guys, I don't think this conversation is about Xena and Gabrielle.
No.
And then Athena says, I don't doubt Gabrielle's willingness to die, only Xena's willingness to lose her.
And then they exchange very meaningful gay looks.
Oh, it's very romantic. And yeah, I mean, it's so built into like this relationship from the beginning that Elenis is gonna die.
Yep.
Sucks. Sad. Do not want.
So then they figure out that, well, what if Xena has no intention of losing Gabrielle?
Question.
Yeah, and then she imparts some more wisdom. A great commander looks further than what their opponent is doing to see if there's a deeper strategy.
And then we get the model again, right? You see, like...
Yeah. It goes in, and then sure enough, of course, there is a deeper strategy. Xena is in the tunnels. She wants to come up behind the enemy and crush them with Gabrielle on one side and Xena and her dudes on the other. But, here comes Elena's in them tunnels to foil Xena's plan. I like this because it's intercut with the battle above.
Yeah.
So it's like, very quiet, like tunnel darkness, and then you like hard cut to this crazy action of like light and Gabs and like so much fighting.
I like that Xena kind of calls out Elenis's cheek.
Oh, yeah.
Having injured her earlier, and Elena's kind of subconsciously touches it. And it's this moment of, like, vulnerability from her again.
Right. There's a lot of, like, smirking. Like, they have, like, a smirk-off between each other.
These two seem very... there's a lot of animosity.
Yeah.
It's interesting considering, as we've said, Elenis and Athena is sort of like a mirror for Xena and Gabs. So this is, like, Athena's Gabs. And, like, Xena's so, like, oh, you're the worst, Athena, Gabs.
Right?
You're... the loyalty to that lady, what's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she's, like, not really looking at it that way. I mean, maybe she's looking at it more like, when Ares, like, won't leave her alone.
That's true.
That kind of thing. It's like she doesn't like the power difference between a god and a favored human.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, I think that's a lot of why she's so mean to Elenis.
Yeah.
Elenis has kind of taken the offer that Xena refuses to take.
Right. And, I mean, she shouldn't judge, like, clearly Athena is way better than Ares, like, as a human.
I know, I'm
As
surprised.
a goddess human being.
I'm surprised Athena never, like, tried to have Xena as one of her favorites.
Oh, wow. I wonder why.
Where's that fic?
Well, fake maybe. I would read that. Yeah, it's true. But honestly, like, this goes back to my problem with the show in general, where I would have loved to have some of these gods, like, in way more episodes and with way more development than, like, one episode for this very important goddess.
I mean, she'll be back a couple more times, but yeah.
But Ares is just there since the beginning.
I know.
Whatever. At least we have Aphrodite. Anyway, yeah, I don't really like the kind of, like, judginess of Xena with, like, Athanas, the ship.
Yeah, I find the whole thing, like I said, this episode is interesting because often, even though I get, Xena's the hero, she's defending her daughter, like, she's in the right, but you do feel, like, a sense of discomfort about this conflict. Yeah, you don't like that she's fighting these people.
Right.
They're sympathetic.
Yeah, and so Elenis is like, ha ha ha, look what I have here in this tunnel. It's a bunch of Greek fire.
She's sealing off the tunnels with it, and this is a very Cyrene
my note is like, she goes all Cyrene on them tunnels.
Again, that feels like, they don't explicitly call back to Past and Perfect, but we get the reference, and we like it.
Yeah, so you have this, like, massive like slow-mo Xena running from the fire situation.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. And then also there's the part where the like canvasy flap of like rock. It's like not really rock. It's like flapping around. It's totally fine. It looks great.
It looks amazing. I didn't notice no flap rock.
What looks better, flap rock or Elena's armor?
Flap rock. The rocks, but it was just funny.
The rocks look better.
It looked like a piece of canvas going like foo-foo, foo-foo.
Yep.
It was very brief. I just felt like pointing it out because I saw it. Only because I saw it. Everything else looks great.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fire.
Yeah, I love Xena backlit, running. When she jumps, the boots.
So much slow-mo. She kind of like knocks a bunch of rocks down after she like jumps. To safety to like block the flame from escaping, and then you cut to Gabs and she's like, what is that rumbly situation?
Am I just hungry?
Oh my god.
And then it's like gigantic explosion.
Yeah, she was pretty close to that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
that was very Cold Mountain opening.
Oh.
Which is like a real strategy that they did in like Civil Wars. In the Civil War.
They would set bombs under?
Yeah, they would put them under, like, the trenches of the enemy, and then when they explode, they kill, the people.
Well, you really feel the hard fall that Gabs takes. Like, she's, like, covered in dirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so it turns out that explosion killed all the enemy soldiers.
Or at least wounded them enough that they have to retreat.
Yeah, and so she gets up, she's like, oh, it's not what I was, expecting, but I'll take this,
Yeah, and meanwhile, Xena's like, I warned you, or some such dumb line.
What did it mean? Kind of didn't understand it.
I think Xena has worked out that if Elena sets fire to the Greek fire, it's gonna be bad for her. She like she's like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Okay. And then afterwards she's like, see.
Okay, sure.
In other words, it's another trap.
Oh, another trap. Okay. Drink.
Drink for traps. Oh, we should mention that we are drinking some delicious coconut porter today, courtesy of one of our listeners, Kathy. Thank you very much for the beer.
Thank
you.
We're almost out.
So back in the safety of Amphipolis, Gabs reports that they're down half strength. So it's a toughie, as Xena previously had said.
This felt kind of like the price to me. Like how Gab says that the wounded are going to have to keep watch. That was such an issue in the price that Xena wanted to use the wounded on the walls. So now it's Gab suggesting it herself.
Whoa.
How far she's come.
Sweet baby. She also suggests that Xena can just put on like the armor of these enemy soldiers that they grabbed and slip out. For safety.
That's the sort of thing that Xena might have suggested back in the day to get sweet baby angel Gabs out of a bad situation.
But Xena, of course, refuses because these are her people. And Athena chose the people of Amphipolis, like, for a reason.
Yeah, she's holding the town hostage.
Yep.
Yeah, Xena can't let the town suffer for her.
But Xena's already, like, every person who is killed from Amphipolis, Xena says that, like, the blood is on her hands.
So then Athena's archers just kind of sneak up to the trenches
and
start firing.
Sudden arrows.
Suddenly arrows! Yep. Silver bitches.
Like, what does Xena think to say? Sorry, it's just so Xena. Poor Xena.
What, every drop of blood?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
She always thinks there's a lot of blood on her hands.
Okay, guys. So when the silver bitches launch their arrows, man, why is there a small little girl just there?
Always like, a small little girl.
Oh my god, also, they're like, are they in like a trench or where are they?
They're just like hanging out.
This is like the front line.
They're so exposed. They're like flopped on the ground, but like, I'm like, you guys, you're not hidden.
They don't seem to, it's not a walled city, so they just sort of have
arrows.
A slight bank with some like
they put some stuff up. Yeah.
There's just no reason that they were missed. Like
there is no reason. No,
they weren't like hiding, even though they looked like they were hiding.
But also, like, shouldn't this girl be hidden away with the rest of the kids?
Obviously, she just went out to play with her dolly.
Oh my god!
Look, she's here so that you notice her dumb dolly. Okay, she's got a dolly. But also maybe it's a callback to Callisto.
I never even noticed that's where it comes from.
She's got the dolly, dude.
Oh, no.
There be dolly.
Oh, shit.
See, it's all well written. There you go. Everything is tied together.
And Little Girls in Danger is a recurring Xena image.
Listen, couldn't, like, Cyrene have been like, oh, my God, I've been, like, you know, I had the local wood carvesman, like,
do that?
Carve up a creepy fucking doll for this baby.
She would have done better than this.
Like, we didn't need this ridiculous small girl, but whatever. Yeah, it's classic Xena.
She catches an arrow even.
Yeah, she
very classic.
flippity flips through the air to jump right in front of this girl and, like, catch the arrow, like, right in her face. And then you have Elena's, like, cackle insanely after that happens.
Elena's is having a good time.
Yeah.
Are you not a fan of Elena's?
I am not, but she's a great lady. She was at retreat this year.
Oh,
She night retreat.
She played some Gaga Ball.
Yeah, and honestly, it was like a little because she was at retreat, and their like their bows really reminded me of archery at retreat.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You know, Elena's she's whatever. You know, I prefer like the gravitas of Athena
of course,
the
can't
the
both
many
be
layers.
Like
Can't they?
What?
I don't know.
Look, you gotta have a little bit of camp in there.
I guess, yeah. It's like what we talk about. There's like the two modes of acting choices.
Yeah,
there's
you
like
need
that
the campy one and the serious one.
Yeah. So Cyrene's Tavern has been turned into a hospital.
This is sad.
Yeah, this was another good scene.
Cyrene's Tavern, where everybody knows your name.
Yeah,
because you're a patient in a hospital.
Oh shit.
Sad. There's a dead guy.
Yeah, dead guy.
Oh, I love this silent little moment where she just covers a dead guy and leaves the scene looking really grim. Doesn't even nudge Xena or anything.
And then someone's sitting there by a patient and then turns around and it's surprise, Athena.
So this is hysterical because she's like, I'm here, I'm talking to you, and then Xena looks around like all shifty, and Athena's like, don't worry, no, only you can see me. And then Xena stands there and proceeds to have this full-on conversation with her, just standing there. And I'm like,
if somebody looks over, she's just talking to herself.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Fine, whatever.
Maybe all those people are like, that's just normal for Xena. She's crazy.
I do love the decision to have her sitting by a patient.
Yeah.
That feels very godlike. Like, this is someone maybe
look what you're doing.
Her.
Yeah,
Xena,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then she's like, sad, isn't it, to be mortal?
This is a good moment, I thought, when Xena sort of says, oh, I always liked you, Athena.
Oh my God, she's not mad, she's disappointed.
Yeah. But I mean, this is sort of what you're saying, Vera. Like, it would have been so great to have this character appear throughout the show, because, having Xena say, you were always the god I felt most deserving of my respect. We know how much that means coming from Xena, who really dislikes all of the Olympian gods. Here is one who she's like, yeah, you're worthwhile. They're both warrior women.
I know. Okay, I'm just going to have a little moment to complain. Athena is 100% my favorite Olympian goddess.
Generally speaking.
Yeah, generally, I fucking love her.
I love her with the helmet.
Oh God, the helmet. That's the main reason. Yeah, but the
cool
fact,
helmet.
she's founder goddess of Athens, right? She's major, man. She's a major freaking goddess. She came out of Zeus's forehead, fully sprung and ready for action.
Woo!
It's cool. She's cool.
She's a cool bitch.
Like, I hate that she's not on the show, that she's not mentioned, that it's not a thing. And that when she appears, she's dressed ridiculously.
Right, she could have had that cool helmet on her head.
Right?
It would have been so easy. There's so many beautiful arts with that helmet.
She's like sexy C-3PO. Like, come on.
Ouch.
I'm so upset about this because...
That doesn't sound that bad.
Sexy
Actually, there's a guy... one of the...
You saying C-3PO is not sexy?
I mean, he's my fave. I very much subscribe to that C-3PO fanfic, erotic fanfic.
I'm sorry.
I do think that some of those British guys, like the maybe Knights of Britannia or whatever, the guys in the black uniforms, I feel like their helmets are kind of like off in, like they're on the top of their heads, kind of like sitting.
Oh, you think that's a reference?
I think it's some kind of reference, even though
to the Athenian.
They're not like either Cleopatra's Guard or Knights from Britain or whatever they said they were.
They have the Gorgon styling, I think.
So then that doesn't make any sense because she didn't say that there's like a whole devoted army of dudes.
That's
for
true.
her.
We only heard about the elite archers.
Ugh, nothing makes sense. But whatever. Those guys have those helmets. Like, it is noticeable.
On their head, on top of their heads. Yeah.
So, like, instead of her having it, these dudes do. I mean, I just...
Like, it's a missed opportunity
it's
to
such
make,
a missed
like,
opportunity.
a parallel character somehow more with Xena, with, like, their warrior aspects.
And, like, why couldn't we have dealt with, like, a Greek god that maybe she says she respects her and stuff like that.
And
like,
we understand why.
Yeah.
I think we as viewers respect her based on just the few minutes of screen time she's had up till this point.
Yeah.
She strikes you as a reasonable god who really cares about the people who worship her sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is like telling, not showing. I wish that we had many episodes.
It's really
to
true.
show.
You feel like they're...
Yeah, and then if you had like this rivalry, right, between Athena and Ares, like, let's say for Xena's
gods of war.
Yeah, for Xena's like favor. Yeah. That would have been so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Right the fix.
That should have been all of season 5 or something.
Right? Oh, it would have been incredible. And like so just about the essence of Xena.
Ooh.
Oh, so anyway, I needed to rant because, man, I'm sad.
Okay, it's time for me to take the pin out.
Okay.
Here's the shady reference to Back in the Bottle, I think. So as you said, Xena says, you're really the only god who deserves my respect. Why you do this to me, man? Athena's response is, I have no choice. The fates decreed it. You may recall that in Back in the Bottle, when Xena had to destroy 100,000 men, her response was, I have no choice, which was bullshit.
Right.
Xena says, here, that's bullshit.
Yay!
She says, warriors like us make our own fate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as I have no choice. This is so, my issue with it was that it was so out of character for Xena and just for the whole moral outlook of the show. I love that here, RJ's back, we have Xena say the thing that is just so Xena.
Yeah. I also like that she said warriors like us.
Yes, she's incling, you feel like she and Athena are kind of in the same class. Yeah. And I love it. I love that line so much. Maybe that's their ship words for me. Xena, Athena.
Warriors like us make our own fate?
Yes.
I like it. Oh, man. Not to be like this, but I'm going to mention it. Didn't Hercules say something like that to Zeus in God-Fearing Child?
Making his own fate.
I'm sorry. I said not to be like this.
Well, he said that he wanted, mankind to be masters of their own fate. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fighting for free will, I guess, is really what's at stake.
Well, Xena proposes a fair fight between her and Athena. Like, no god tricks, just like two bitches going at it.
That would be so cool. I wish they'd done that. Oh, man.
So, and if Xena wins, then Athena has to spare the people of Amphipolis and also Eve.
But Athena immediately is like, nope.
Yeah.
That would be too cool to do, Xena. I'm sorry. She says they need their gods. She's not going to even risk it.
Yeah.
They need something to believe in. And Xena's like, they have something to believe in. Me. She doesn't say that, but that's what I said. I was like, I do believe in you, Xena. It's true. I need no god but you.
Well, Athena's like, what? The cult of Eli? Do you really believe love will win this battle?
This is funny because it is going to be very ironic. Love really does.
Aw. Well, this moment is really great. And again, props to Paris Jefferson for being so awesome. So she's saying stuff like, do you think that love will win this battle? And then just very calmly, I poisoned the water supply.
It's shocking.
Oh,
my
God.
And cruel.
Ugh,
it's very upsetting.
It's badass.
And goddess of wisdom, man.
Whew. And then she's like, what will you give them when they're dying of thirst? Love.
Such a practical thing to do. And in that, it's so cold and
just,
evil.
Her delivery is just so incredible here.
Yeah.
Also, it's worth mentioning, this is a lady who's 5'3". The goddess Athena is tiny.
Oh, wow. Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't even register that. That says something about her
I
screen presence.
mean, she's very small. She's smaller than anybody around her, including Xena.
I literally didn't notice. Maybe because I was too busy looking at the horrible costume.
Oh, God. Yes.
Sorry.
Her amazing cleavage. That cleave.
You know, okay. So, are you done talking about that scene?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so she, like, goes away. Like, you know how they can just kind of materialize anywhere they want, right? And, like, Eve cries and Xena freaks out immediately because Athena just left and, like,
you know. Go off and kill her.
Yeah. Okay, like, why fucking doesn't she?
Yeah.
That's not...
Honestly, what the fuck?
That's
I mean,
not
if it's... But
fair.
it's, like, not playing fair. Okay, but it's, like, such a big goddamn deal, right? Any
right.
single one of these gods could just...
Yeah. All the time.
I don't... Okay. I'm just saying, if it's that big of a deal, why the hell are they just... I'm sorry, I'm just pointing that out. Because she just floofed away and Xena was like, oh my god, oh no. And, like, ran in and Cyrene's like, it's okay, it's just another, as you guys like to say, poopy diaper. But, like... It could have been her getting, like, murdered by Athena. I mean, I respect her being, like, honorable and stuff.
Yeah.
But, like,
what about the other gods?
Yeah, the other gods are not so honorable.
Like,
so they could easily have done that.
Anyway, I'm just super curious. That's all. That's okay. I don't care that much.
Thank you for bringing that up. That's a huge
I actually
flaw.
read an interview with Chris Mannheim, I believe, about God-fearing child.
Oh, okay.
Where this was brought up to her, and she had a long explanation.
Oh, good.
That,
I would love to hear it.
In her mind, she thinks the gods, like, you know, it's not like they have, like, mental GPS. They don't, like, necessarily, like, know where someone is.
Okay.
Unless they have, you know, a scout or someone tell them, and then they can appear to them. That's how
So, like, every time Ares appears...
She imagines, that Ares sort of is, like, always looking at Xena. Like, you know, is just following her around with his powers and hence can appear. But other gods who aren't, like, I don't know. This is Chris's silly explanation.
This is a stretch that does not make sense.
And honestly, this is why I do always get a little bit, like, frustrated with episodes that have too many gods running around. Because, I had this issue with Callisto. Is when you give someone, when they're all powerful, you can't have plots. You can't have episodes. Like, they just
That's
doesn't
why
really
I
make
don't
sense.
really care that much.
But you're absolutely right that in this moment, they're playing that.
Yeah.
She just apparated. She could totally go to Eve and kill her. That's what Xena thinks has happened.
Yeah. All right, so there's more Cyrene stuff here. You want to talk about it, Liv?
Oh my god, love it! Cyrene is just like, comforting the baby and is just so like businesslike about it. Just does not give a shit about anything that's going on. She's just doing her grandmotherly work. And Xena is like, wants to thank her for standing up to the gods and, risking her life. She says very sweetly, like, it was very impressive, says Xena. And Cyrene is like, please. Facing down a god I can handle. I raised you, remember?
Oh, man.
What does that mean? No, I'm just kidding.
And then she goes through it. Terrible 2s, terrible 3s, terrible 14s. Oh, Cyrene. What a great lady. But then she gets serious and says, it's worth all the heartache in the world just to see your child grow up strong and proud. I'd like you to know what that's like, Xena. I mean, that's a really beautiful moment, and you understand exactly then why Cyrene is doing this. Yeah, she's fighting for Xena to have the experience that Cyrene had. Quarreling with your daughter when she kills a bunch of people.
Right?
Put a pin in it.
She's like, I will. I'm like, girl, you will.
I also really love the tall smallness of this.
Aww.
Like, there's a moment where Xena kind of puts her hand on Cyrene's shoulder and just, like, is such a giant next to her.
Okay, I have questions about this next part.
Sure.
So, Xena goes to Ares' temple.
Yeah.
In the village of Amphipolis?
Of course.
Yeah,
remember how her dad went to the temple of Ares, came back and tried to murder her?
Oh, I didn't realize it was right there.
This is that temple.
It's really close to town.
It's really close. It is in town.
Yeah.
It's just like right there.
Like on the
temple.
main strip.
Okay, all right. You're answering my question.
This has literally been mentioned as a place.
Wow, I just thought it was like a little bit away, maybe like a day's ride from
That
the
would
village.
make more sense, but I feel like this
It's
is a plot.
just like right there.
plot
Literally
point.
right
Is it
there.
the only temple?
I assume Eve each town has their temple for whichever gods they consider patrons of their town.
So
Ares
Athena considers herself patron of this town.
That's
and
true.
She does not have a fucking temple.
Not that we ever see.
She must.
She probably does. They just decided they only had money for one temple.
For one temple. The one that we've had props from before. Yeah. Okay, so she gets into this temple.
What?
So this is the burn line.
Yep.
I think all the writing, but particularly the writing for the various lines between Xena and Ares, they're so good.
Mm-hmm.
They're sharply written. They're often very funny. They're so well delivered.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just kept writing the chemistry between these two fine people. That's just what my note says.
Oh, yeah.
It's true. It's very true.
Season 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm. That's the ultimate for these guys. Yeah. Well, he's like, well, you're getting whooped by, the goddess of wisdom and warfare. And she says that line that made me laugh for like days.
Weaving.
It made me laugh so much.
And yeah, his face there is great. I also love Xena's sarcastic thanks when he mocks her about the burn. I mean, it's just so perfectly delivered, these moments. And it's sexy. It's just so sexy how well they can insult each other. It's kind of that old, 1940s screwball thing. Like, it's hot. Mm-hmm. I also think that don't forget weaving. It reminds me of Xena's first of the many skills.
Oh, yeah.
Embroidery. So again, more sense that she's simpatico with Athena, that Athena is goddess of warfare and weaving. Two sides.
Yeah. It would have been really funny if, like, in the background you saw some of the silver bitches, like, constantly weaving or something. 'Cause they're so loyal.
Just knitting, waiting for, like, something to happen.
So Xena's there for a reason, right? She's there to revisit that old proposal that he keeps bringing up for episode upon episode.
And this is great because now Ares, like, plays dumb. He's like, what proposal? I've been mentioning a proposal every week for the past 3 weeks.
You help me defeat Athena, and I'm yours.
She offers him her sword and the body that wields it. Girl!
I'll take it, Xena. Thanks.
Oh, I love, though, that now that Xena's really desperate, Ares is like, oh, yes, finally, I get to be the not desperate one. I get to kind of, like, rub it in a bit.
Yeah, he's suddenly very concerned as to how the rest of Olympus will, like, perceive him if he does this.
So it's going to be a pariah.
To be fair, he should be concerned.
He was never concerned before. And he doesn't
really
seem like he would be the type who would be concerned.
But to be fair, he's such a sort of hot-blooded person that he just doesn't think about these things. Like, he'll offer these deals and then be like, oh, right, like, if I fuck Dayhawk or whatever, it's like,
what?
Remember all that?
Fuck Dayhawk.
This dude does a lot of
He's like, Dayhawk, will you be my baby daddy?
What? Oh, yeah, I remember now.
He gets involved in things and you feel like he doesn't think it through, okay?
Yeah.
When you put it that way, I was like, it took me a while to be like, what part are you talking about? I get it.
Well, okay, it takes him a little bit of time, but Xena's very persuasive here.
She does a lot of touching.
No personal space.
And a lot of, sidling up too.
There's a little bit of a makeout sesh.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
She offers him a new version of the deal, I noticed. This is not the same deal from Eternal Bonds, which I was kind of glad about, TBH. I did not like the deal in Eternal Bonds that Xena had to give him, like, another kid.
Right. No, this is interesting because she's like, you'll be Eve's father, and our legacy will be through her. And put a pin in it.
Yeah, put a pin in it. Yeah, this is an important revision, and and I like it.
Yeah.
I like that she's just like...
But it's weird in the sense that, like, if he means, like, I don't know. That's okay with him, I guess. That's cool.
This
he
is
doesn't
the
need his
child
own...
that's gonna kill his
like,
entire family.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of the same deal he made. Sorry that I keep bringing this up. I don't know why. But that's exactly what was up with Dayhawk. It's like he had sex with Hope, and their kid was gonna kill all the Olympian gods.
Right.
Oh, shit.
Weird.
Wow. The Destroyer was going to be...
Eve is the new Destroyer.
Wow. Well, much sexier this time.
I don't even know what to say to that. Eve's currently a baby, and the Destroyer is a giant porcupine.
But do you see that? She has very cute cheeks. Much sexier.
Oh, no.
Well, anyway, Ares is like very tempted here, but then he's like, no.
I love that he pulls away. It's something.
It's good because he's like, wait a minute.
She's trying to trap me.
Fucking easy. This is a trap. It's a trap.
Well, I mean, she is literally saying all the things he's ever wanted to hear.
And he is smart here because he is basically like, you're gonna do something to mess with me.
Yeah.
And he is not fucking wrong.
And he's not fucking wrong, but it's also really fucking ironic considering he's the one who generally messes with Xena. Like, I thought it was so funny that he accuses her of messing with his head like she always does when, like, he's the one who, like, pretended to be her dad. Like, come on, man. But, of course, this is all supposed to be a huge reversal of their previous dynamic. You know, now Ares is the paranoid one who can't kind of trust the person he's talking to, which is always where Xena's been in previous episodes. And also Ares gets to reject Xena, which is, you know, the opposite of everything we've ever seen. And I love Xena's reaction when she realizes he's turning her down. She's sort of like, you know, what?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah. I mean, I really liked it. And I know it's all a trap and a trick.
I hate
but
that.
I hate it so much.
I honestly really hate it. I feel like it undercuts some of the emotion because you know it's a trap. Like even here. Like,
well, here I didn't.
I didn't. I felt like I was kind of having an Ares moment because she's saying all the right things and really coming on almost too strong. Like, I mean, you see
it was just right. It was just right. This is my favorite. Like, I love this kind of...
I'm in the middle because I feel like her performance is in such a way like desperate, right? In the next one, not so much. Yeah. But like in this one, for sure, you see it. And then when he says no, she is genuinely like looks upset.
Yeah, because this was like her biggest card to play. Like the last thing,
she had like teary eyes and stuff.
Yeah,
like she looked like
if this
really
was real,
mad.
which I really wanted it to be.
I need it to be. I mean, I need the way I look at moments like this is like I look for what's real in them. I think you're absolutely right, Katie, that like you see her real emotions, which is that she does need him to go along with this. She does need him to like, you know, fall under her spell and is frustrated when he doesn't. And I do think you see some, like, effort in how she kind of has to, like, kind of get herself in the zone where she can come on to him. Mm-hmm. But, it's one of those frustrating things where you're like, what's real and what's not? Right. And, like, I think you as a viewer, like, as the scene starts, you just are doubting it. You're on Ares' kind of side of the conversation.
I wasn't doubting. I'm telling you, I was very disappointed when I found out this was all fake because you want to get her to a place where she's powerless, like because she's always on top of everything. She's always like she's the hero of the show. We've had this
conversation before.
So like whenever somebody has like a true upper hand on her, like Athena, right? Like she's so put in a place where like the last thing she can think of doing is going to Ares for help doing this. Like, so it's important.
And you feel like this is a situation, like, you know, over her dead body, would she ever do this? But here's a situation finally where she
That's
has
what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going to believe that she's serious right now, this, like, because she's doing it to save her child is the only reason you would think that she was doing it. Right. Or, like, you know.
And the people.
Or people that she loves. Like, in which case, she always does silly things with Ares.
That's when he can get her. It's worked in the past. But yeah, I mean, we'll continue to talk about that. It's one of the things that is... I think it is a strength of the episode because I feel like it makes my feelings towards Xena in this episode are kind of complicated because I honestly feel a little bad for Ares the way she manipulates him. And you know, she's counting on him basically doing the right thing and yet still resents him, and you know that is sort of a weird contradiction of all this, is that she's like, this man is gonna act out of love for me, so let's just manipulate the shit out of him. But even here he's doing it for the wrong reasons, as we'll see. He's still very much, you know, he is not selfless at all about this. He wants stuff out of Xena. He always does.
So back in the trenches, there's like a couple of these locals, and they're kind of sitting around waiting for something to happen, and their spirits are kind of down, I think. One guy, who's a pig farmer, he's very much losing heart. He's like, I don't know who the fucking Eli is. Like, I don't know him. I know Athena, and she's been, like, all right to us. Like, she's been good to us.
Why can't we just give up this one kid?
Let's just give up the baby.
What's the deal?
And Gabs totally overhears this.
No.
And
she is.
She's so pissed.
She hulks out.
She hulks out.
She, like, lifts him up.
Yeah, grabs him by, what is that? With the front of the shirt. That's not the scruff. That's the reverse scruff.
Reverse scruff, yes.
Yeah. So she's not having any of this.
I like that they show, like, a person in the village who we don't know being like, I don't know about this.
Right, because it's, like, it's rough, man. If some lady comes in and she's like, yo, it's like, just, you know.
Yeah. He's like
lose your life for this baby that you don't know. Like,
he doesn't know anything about Eli.
Yeah.
Athena's always treated them well, according to this guy, I guess.
So Gabs is like, it's not just that baby, it's all of the babies.
What happens when the next god comes along and they want your child or yours? Mm-hmm. She also says something I thought was pretty interesting, considering what's actually going on in this episode. She says, we're not fighting for Xena, we're fighting for ourselves, for our right to be treated like human beings, not game pieces.
Right.
I thought this ironic, considering she and Xena have this long con where they're basically treating everyone, including themselves, like game pieces. So, interesting choice of words there, Gabrielle. What are you really fighting for?
She then calls Ares, which I loved because I love when Gabs and Gary's.
I know, I'm glad this episode does that too.
Yeah.
I like that she has to take that beat to be like, oof, like, collect herself.
Yeah, and you see, like, what a toll it takes on her. Like, she's not just this strong battle person.
Right.
She still does have moments of doubt and weakness. So I love that Ares shows up and he's like, well, aren't I Mr. Popular? Gabs already knows about the offer, which maybe is a clue that all is not as it
I wrote
appears.
how
Really?
in
but
capital letters.
I thought she just like figured that would be like the
that's
last.
what you're supposed to.
Yeah, like it's like Xena's last card to play. She does not want to play, but she is forced to do it here.
Gabs knows Xena well enough that she knows Xena will have tried this.
Right.
I loved Ares' response, though, to this. I thought it was very curious that she says that, like, I know Xena made you an offer, and Ares says, you're telling the story. I was like,
whoa.
Is this like a fourth wall break?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is this the scroll?
Yeah.
Like, I know you're writing this, so, I mean, you
goodness.
tell me, babe.
Yeah.
I love that line.
Yeah.
Well, she asks him not to accept.
She begs. She says that if he accepts... I mean, this is such a cool reading. I feel like these are all things we've said on the podcast about Ares, which is that Ares actually really likes Xena as she is now.
Right.
That's the Xena he's fallen in love with. And that if he basically blackmails her into selling herself to him, he will destroy her. And if you make her do this, Gab says, she will never love you.
Which is totally fair.
100% fair and true.
You can't just force,
And, I like that she's appealing to kind of Ares' goodness. You love this woman. Don't you want her to stay as she is?
Right.
Like, don't mess with her like this. Just because you're getting what you want doesn't mean you're going to be happy. She's giving him really good advice, actually, even as she manipulates the shit out of him because it's a trap and this is all reverse psychology.
Oh, no.
So, he up until this point in the episode has doubted that Xena means it, that she's actually willing to deal with him. But because Gabs is begging him not to, he realizes, Xena does mean it. Oh, cool.
Okay, bye.
I'm going to take it. Bye.
Yeah, for real.
Stupid Ares.
Aww. Well, he goes to visit Athena immediately, and she's about to catapult some dead cattle carcasses.
I love this little exchange and how Ares is like, and a classic it is. like really snappy delivery, really fun.
So he tells her, you know what, I can get Xena and the kid out of this realm, and she doesn't have to like deal with this whole situation anymore. And she answers with like, oh, brother, you're thinking with your codpiece again. Oy.
I liked it.
And then he kind of says some stuff that you were saying, Liv, in the God-fearing child episode, which is maybe this is a self-fulfilling prophecy.
And this is the moment I was referring to earlier where I said, well, clearly Athena's the smart one and Ares is the stupid one. Here, Ares seems actually, to have their number. Like, he, I think, is making a very valid point, which is the gods are doing this to themselves. What harm can a baby do to them?
Right.
Like, they are just destroying themselves by constantly going after this baby.
Yeah, and fighting. Yep, but she's not backing down, so he leaves in a huff.
Mm-hmm. I love this huff. This is a great private moment from Ares where he teleports back to his temple and just kind of like
punches.
Punches his own altar. It's just like, fuck all this. Like, I can't get my way. I can't get anyone to do what I want. Ah.
And then he turns around and he notices some articles of clothing.
Strewn.
Yeah.
Strewn Xena armor. Chalice of wine.
Oh yeah, something. Like the wine is just like sitting there ready for him.
This is, I think, some of Kevin Smith's best acting. I just love this. It's so funny. Mm-hmm. I think it's funny while being quite serious, like performing. You know, Ares is in a slightly desperate emotional place, but now he sees all this stuff and he just becomes very embarrassing, and it's so funny just how awkward he is in this scene.
Yeah. And then this is where I don't buy a single thing from Xena.
Because
everything about everything is awkward and hilarious.
Yeah, and it's just so over the top.
Yeah, but it's funny.
I like it all.
She got this fur thing.
It reminds me of like her trying to seduce Caesar back in the day.
Yeah.
So this
is
definitely
normal.
These are her moves.
Yeah.
But also,
and the open mouth kisses. Yep. It's all happening.
And that one had that like awkward pull thing. This one is just like she's like gets stuck on the giant fur thing. I don't know how much. I literally don't know how much of it is just like supposed to be kind of silly because she doesn't really want to be doing this, and how much is just like Lucy can't get her foot around the fur thing and the tripping. You know what I mean? But there's just like it's just like a funny awkwardness about the whole thing.
Yeah, I think it really adds something, and it's sexy even while being funny and awkward. Yeah. So I think it's just a really great balance of tones. This moment.
Well,
I love how he takes the giant gulp from the goblet, like liquid courage.
Right. I mean, it's there for that reason.
Yeah.
She has no clothes on. She has this fur.
She's like, so are we going to seal this deal? And then she rolls the fur down and the boobs come out.
Yep.
Or what? And he's like, sounds like a plan.
It's good. I don't know. To me, this was all like good stuff because it was going off of the fake belief that I had that this was a real thing. He said no to her before, so she has to like up it.
That's
so
true.
She's now naked. It's all stuff that was legit.
Well, I was not buying it anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's so over the top that you're like, there's just no way. Like, this is not in character anymore. And yet, you're into it.
Yeah,
I think it's really
I loved it.
Impressive juggling of, like, your loyalty. Because I do low-key ship it, I would say. But, like, I really shipped it in this moment. Like, I wanted it. I think because Ares is really sympathetic in this episode. You feel bad for him,
and it's just too sexy.
It's like a pity fuck. You're like, give the poor guy a break.
She like knocks him down onto the chaise lounge or whatever they're laying on.
Oh my god, this was icky because like that thing's so dusty.
Oh yeah,
it was just suddenly in a dust cloud.
That was a bummer.
I was like, why doesn't any of Ares' followers come in here to like clean up a little bit?
Well, maybe that's telling.
Yeah,
you think that dust was intentional? I think that was like a poor choice of lighting.
Well, it doesn't matter anymore.
I don't know. I love that
now
idea.
Now it's on there, so we can make it be whatever.
I love that.
All right.
It's his decrepit old temple no one ever takes care of.
Okay, yeah.
And now they're gonna fuck on this sad, dirty couch.
Oh.
So she kind of like undoes his top, and there's a little bit of
biting.
Some nipple biting.
Tongue stuff.
Tongue
I
stuff.
wrote down tongue stuff. What?
Yep.
I forget now. There was a funny quote where it was Beasley, Lucy, and
Lucy
Kevin.
was like, "Oh, it's just face stuff. We've done that before."
I'm so tired of kissing this man. Can't we do some other stuff?
Let's up the sexiness here.
Can I like kiss a nip and then
she wanted to lick.
Right, she wanted to lick, and Beasley was like, "How about you bite?"
Yeah, he's like, "I'm into that. Let's try it."
Well, that was a good moment.
directing.
It was good. So, they're doing stuff. It's getting hot and heavy, and she's like, "Did you hear something?" And he's like, "No, baby. Keep doing that. Keep doing that biting." And she's like, "All right." And then 2 seconds later, like, "I'm pretty sure I heard something."
And she does not, which is pretty great. She's just stalling. It's so funny and awkward. And sad when you think about it, because she does not want to be doing this at all. And she's doing it.
It's great.
And it's entertaining.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a complicated thing to be watching.
So then, like, "No, baby, keep doing it." And then there's an explosion. And, like, the front part of this, like, temple is blown off. And you see Cyrene.
Oh my god.
Run up.
It's so nightmarish. This is like the worst possible thing that could be happening.
Xena's mom caught them having sex.
Mm-hmm. And she like covers the baby's eyes. She's like, "No, don't look at it."
Too sexy.
I also love how Cyrene says Xena's name here. It's sort of like, Xena.
Well, I like it. She's like, "I suppose it could be worse. After all, he is a god. Although I'd prefer Apollo or maybe Hermes." And then I loved Kevin Smith here. She's like, "Excuse me, Hermes? With the wings on the feet and that Hermes handbag?"
Yeah. No.
I also love Xena's, "This is not what it looks like," and Ares immediately is like, "Yeah, it is." He has so many great lines.
Yeah, it was really good.
I mean, that's why I say I am sympathetic to Ares, because he has all the best zingers this episode. You can't help but love it.
So Cyrene fills Xena in on what's going on and says that Gabs has launched an attack against Athena.
Which is crazy all of a sudden to have Cyrene show up and be like, "Hey, Gabrielle just launched an attack on the thing while you're over here. I don't know if you knew about
seduction, this. Maybe you should be paying attention."
It's true. Why is Cyrene running around with the baby in the middle of exploding cities?
It's obviously, if you think about it for 1 second, you realize that something weird is afoot here.
And yet I didn't. It all seemed normal to me.
Because Cyrene is a badass.
Yeah.
So she would.
Yeah, she would. So Xena starts getting dressed immediately.
Yeah, it was fun to see her kind of holding her leathers to her chest.
Yeah. And Ares is like, wait, no.
No, this is perfect. Like, with Gabs fighting, that's a good cover for him to get Xena and Eve to safety.
Yeah.
And Xena's like, no way.
I have to do it my way.
Yeah, that was the really weird answer, I thought.
What?
When the whole point that she's, like, trying to get him to do this for her, and then suddenly she's like, "Never mind, I'm going to do this my way."
Well, part of it is that I think, she can't deny that Gabrielle is super important to her, which is the one thing that Ares hasn't factored into any of these offers or deals. Like, what happens to Gabrielle? He never asks.
Nope.
Even though it's an obvious problem with all of these future plans.
I don't know.
What
think
does
it
he
works.
think that arrangement is going to
Vera.
actually
It's going to be
like?
good for him and me.
It can't. What?
What, like a threesome?
Shrug.
I mean, I read that fic.
I mean, I just feel like he doesn't think about it, you know?
But it's an obvious sign, I think, that this isn't a real deal. I mean, that would be a good way to sell the viewer on it if he actually had some plan for how
I guess.
Gabrielle
I can also,
fits
if
into
it
their
was
lives.
but if it was real, I could see, so they seal the deal, and Xena's like, "Oh, P.S., you have to get Gabs out, too. She has to live with us."
Yeah.
I see no problem.
I see no problem either. I think he'd be cool with it.
It's just weird that she never comes up.
It would be like, we
weird.
sort of see what happens in season 6.
It seems
Ares
very-
had a farm.
when-
That would be like that.
It would be exactly like that for sure.
Listen, when you are and you should be focused on the fact that it is the main relationship of the entire show. The fact that she doesn't come up at all in this whole thing is actually pointed because of where it ends up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the ultimate clue that this is not a trustworthy arrangement.
Plus, yeah, you're right. Like, Xena's acting very strange now.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So then we have some Gabs slow-mo fighting.
So good.
She's like has a really weird weapon. Do you guys notice like this?
It's
really
like a
long
big hammer.
thing.
Hammer?
That's what I was saying earlier.
If she had a hammer,
crazy
she would
giant
hammer in the
thing.
morning,
It's
in the
so
evening, all
large.
over
it's
this
like,
land.
It's just a weird.
It's
I
like
don't know.
a
Somebody
like,
tell us what
it's
this
like a
weapon
giant,
is.
Like a croquet mallet.
Yeah.
Like really long.
Yeah.
It's just a large. It's supposed to be like a sledgehammer, but from ye olde times.
Yeah.
So it's made out of
like
wood.
a tool.
Elena's and Athena are talking again because they do a lot of that. And Elena says that Gabs is trapped.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And then Athena's like, end this for me, Elena's.
Ooh.
Before all of Amphipolis is destroyed. Which I like. Again,
She's
love
concerned
her.
for
She
human
does
life.
not want to, despite all that stuff she's doing to the city, she does not want to destroy the city. She doesn't want to destroy these people. Like, she doesn't want to be doing this, but she has to.
She's willing to kill Gabrielle. Mm-hmm. Put an arrow in the young bard. That was a line.
We'll see how long Xena resists while her companion slowly bleeds to death.
Whoa.
Pins.
Whoa.
What? I have so many pins from this whole, from earlier when I didn't actually pin it, but I just sat there silently going, ooh.
Yep.
Anyway.
Well, Xena, like, before any of this can happen, Xena marches onto the battlefield holding this, like, baby shape.
Yes.
Eve in a blanket wrapped.
It's one of the things that sometimes you're like, oh, well, it's on a TV show. Like, you can't have a baby.
You don't want the baby in the middle of the explosions.
You just cover its face with stuff.
Sure.
So it could totally be
Yeah.
that there's supposed to be a baby there. They just don't want a baby in the scene.
Yep.
It is an amazing image.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
Yeah.
Mark Beasley shoots the fuck out of it. The slow-mo.
The explosions.
This mother walking into battle carrying nothing but her child.
Yep.
And it shuts the battle down.
Yeah.
I also love that when Gabrielle like sees this happening, she like runs for Xena and is just like pushing people out of the way,
jumping over.
Yeah, just like she's like this like unstoppable force. Just like get there.
Yeah, because she's like, Xena, don't do this. Don't give your baby up. And Xena's like, no, I have to end this.
I'm going to save these people and you.
Right. Yeah. And like at that point, we the audience are like, yeah, that's definitely gonna happen.
Yeah. She puts the baby on the ground and is all like, all right. There you go. There's a baby for you to kill.
I loved it. Like, it's just so horrible, the thought of it, because she's just like, do it now while she's asleep.
While she's asleep,
and I'm gonna, and she's like, oh, look away, because I'm trying to protect you. And Xena's like, no, I will honor her by, like, looking at every single thing you're doing. It was just all, like, horrific, even though she knows it's not happening. It's just still, like, a pretty horrific
The idea that this even could be true is upsetting.
But again, can I talk about my girl Athena? Mm-hmm. So, like, I loved that as soon as she saw Xena walking on the battlefield, she immediately orders the battle to stop. Because, again, like, she's not there for the battle. She's there to do this job, and once it happens, you know? And then with that, too, like, Xena lays the baby on the ground, like, in front of her, and, like you mentioned, says, do it while it's asleep. You know, like, I thought Athena was really... Her whole thing of like turn around, like I want to spare you again. Also,
she's trying
feelings.
to be considerate.
So nice while she's doing the baby murder.
Come on,
but she has to do it.
She doesn't. She could have been mean. She could have been like ha ha ha.
She has a choice, as Xena said. This is her choice to do a baby murder.
So Athena grabs her sword. And she like raises it over her head.
We get like a literal drum roll on the soundtrack. But then Ares shows up before she can kill the baby and is protecting her. Yeah. And they have some lines.
Some lines happen.
This does not make any sense at all. Like, kind of. He's like, blood is runs thicker than water. He's like, blood is thicker than water, but blood runs hardest when love is involved. It's just all together. It's
like,
it was I feel like there's just some phrasing that like would have made that better. I feel like because it's supposed to be about their like ties as family and it just was like, what is water and blood? Like, what is it?
I think she should have whipped out the you're thinking with your codpiece line here instead of...
You didn't like hers, just calling him whipped.
Yeah.
And his, oh no, that ain't nice.
I hated that so much. But then they lock sword. Or did you want to say something else?
Oh, I was just going to say, it's love. That's what's funny.
I mean, yeah. And again, like, you're supposed to always have in mind Athena's love as well.
Right.
So
love is saving the day, not the way you might expect.
Love is all you need. So they lock swords, and then it's electric, boogie woogie woogie. And then Xena suddenly screams, "Gabrielle, no!"
Which, if you haven't gotten close to, like, maybe this all being part of an elaborate
it's a trap
long game, is an odd phrasing, because she would have given her an order instead of being like, "Gabrielle, now."
Right.
Like, which is like,
work
do
this out
something,
in advance.
like, do the thing we already discussed.
And again, like, I mean, to make their plan work, they've basically anticipated that Ares is going to protect Eve even before he's gotten what he wanted from Xena. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that to me is a pretty significant thing to intuit about him.
Yeah. It relied on,
Yeah.
Anyway.
He thinks their deal's on, but it's not like he's, he can't be sure.
So Gabrielle orders an attack. So we have a lot of fighting starts happening all at the same time. And you have Xena versus Elena's round 2. She goes,
"Let's see how you do now without your goddess's backup."
Uh-oh.
And so they fight.
And Xena, like, checks her out at one point.
What?
When she, like, walks around her in a circle and says, "Not bad."
There's also a weird music. The music changes then, too, and it's, like, odd.
I don't think that was, like, she meant, like, her fighting.
I mean, that's what she textually meant.
Okay.
But she literally looks her up and down and says that.
So you're shipping Zelenus?
Yes.
I don't know, that's please. Right. Make it stop.
Yeah, so you have these two fights. You have Elena's and Xena, and then you have Ares and Athena.
And it's in some places it's blocked so that Xena and Ares are basically fighting alongside each other, which Ares will reference at the end of the episode. It's rare that you see these two characters fighting together on the same side. It's a big moment.
And you have, like, really cool moments, like when Athena would kick Ares, like, a gazillion feet away because, she's awesome.
It's fun to see Ares flying around like a rag doll.
Sure. But, at the same time, you had, like, Elena's, like, I don't know, was this a real moment? Had she had Xena at sword point? Like,
yeah, I think she was.
Like, she's that good?
She's Athena's champion. She must be a pretty good warrior to get to that place.
I don't know, maybe...
You're just reacting to her dumb outfit.
Yeah. But also, like, just, how she
She was so shocked by being cut. This is a woman who, like, is never injured in battle.
Do you remember fucking Milo almost had Xena bested?
We don't talk about fucking Milo. He sucked. He was not a good character. This is a good character, but, she's dressed really silly. I love when she has Xena, like, basically literally over a barrel with a sword to her throat, and Xena is cat screaming all over the place. It's excellent. It's just like,
Thank you for that. Very good.
You're welcome.
So simultaneously to that, right, Athena and Ares are fighting, and Athena goes, "What's the matter, bro? Worried about your girlfriend?" And he's like, "Me? Nope. Worried about yours?" Aw, snap. Because she is.
And that's as textual as it gets here.
Yeah, because that means, like, when he said that and she turns around.
She is worried, in fact.
Yeah.
Especially because a second later, Xena stabs her in the gut.
Yep, she gets skewered.
I gotta, that is a fun acting moment. It's a big,
Bigly.
No, don't say that.
So then that's, once again, it's like as soon as that happens, that's it for Athena's armies. They all retreat. That's just the end. The battle's over.
That is weird.
Elena's is dead.
I think that's odd.
That's how it works.
This one lady is scared by Xena, and the whole armies are like, "Fuck it!"
Yeah. Athena's sort of reason to fight seems to disappear.
I guess so, yeah. So Elena's falls over, and Athena runs to her and cradles her in her arms.
The OTP words it up again.
Mm-hmm. Do I still have your favor? Always, always.
Oh my God. But she says the wound is beyond her healing.
So she dies.
Yeah.
I like the wide shot where you see like her fully stretched out on the ground and Athena cradling her, and Athena looks up at Ares and says like, take a good look. We're next. All of us. I thought that was a great ominous moment. And
yeah. And then she like teleports both her and Elena's body
I
away.
like that she takes Elena's body, presumably to give her a proper burial.
Yeah.
Yeah. A very nice Greek idea.
Yeah.
So
it was
important.
Yeah, it's very like, Iliad.
Yeah. So then, like, there's sort of this awkward moment where, like, I feel like Gabs only then understands that they won. And, like, raises her mallet thing and is like,
my God.
Yeah!
Oh my God, and then you get that like awkward wig double.
Oh, yeah. Such an obvious wig. Why?
Oh no.
So Gabs runs to Xena, who picks up the baby from the ground and, like, acts with it as if it's real.
That's true. That's a good point. Also, it should be noted that while Xena was watching the death of Elena, she looked a little... There was a moment of real feeling.
I mean, it's upsetting.
Yeah.
Was
I always
she-
like when Xena kills someone and then feels bad about it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things on Xena
Oh, yeah.
are moments like that. So
Sure.
she has some remorse. She understands that these two women really loved each other and she made this happen.
Yeah. So then Gabs comes up to Xena and she's like, hey, did you and Ares smash? And she's like, not yet.
She says no. Just like, how dare you suggest such a thing? No. And Ares corrects her and says, not yet. But he's ready to.
Yeah, he wants to finish their transaction, but Xena's like, nah.
Now she's like, nah, after some thinking, I'm not going to take you up on it. And he's all like, what? I saved your child. And she throws the baby at him. And the baby is a creepy wooden puppet that we saw earlier.
Terrible.
So scary.
I love how she delivers, you saved my dolly.
There's a point where I feel like you could see the dolly face when the baby's on the ground, like in the middle of all this
You
stuff.
could see it?
And
Wow.
I'm not sure if
I
you
did
were
not
meant to
register.
read it.
You could see the little, like, it was wearing Eve's outfit.
You could see, yeah. So maybe
could
you were
see the
only
little
supposed to register
hat.
that, but
Yeah.
like also you also register that it's not
Not
a
a
baby.
baby.
So I didn't really. Maybe that was a mistake earlier. Anyway, but
I saw a
you
lot
saved my
of
dolly.
commenters criticizing the episode for making Athena such a smart character up until this moment where she's fooled by a wooden puppet.
Right.
I don't know if that bothers me so much somehow.
No,
I don't know.
I swear to God, like if I didn't already feel like there was something amiss, like I would have just been like, "This is fine," because it's a TV show where they're just not showing that they have like a not real
Yeah.
baby on the ground, and like she's supposed to like go peek and make sure. I don't know.
First, I
like,
must make sure this is a baby.
Yeah,
you know,
like, I don't know.
It's one of those moments you're just like, come on. If they'd actually done that, like, it just wouldn't be good drama.
No.
Well, Ares is very much like, what the fuck? And then, he asks Xena then if she can honestly tell him that she didn't feel anything back in the temple.
They were fighting side by side, like we were one. Like, why do you continue to deny us?
I mean,
Poor
at this
Ares.
point, it is a bit sad. You just feel like, he's continuously humiliated.
Can I always say so? So, in case anybody had been worried this whole time, like this end scene does a lot of great stuff with Xena and Gabrielle, mostly based on including a lot of reaction shots of Gabrielle.
Yeah, she's
That are
watching this whole
amazing.
thing.
And like, so when he's like, didn't you feel anything? You actually like see Gabrielle look at Xena, like before you get Xena answering.
Yeah.
And then Xena's like, I didn't feel anything.
Yeah.
And then Gabs is so happy.
She's so happy. There's so many shots of her just being like defiant and smug at him,
Yeah,
which is like her favorite
she made
thing.
smug face
It's
at
like
him.
same old when he was like, "Who's the father?" And Gabrielle and she just loves making that face at him because it's just a she's like she's Xena's mine.
Yeah.
Just keep trying.
You're right, there's
LOL,
something quite
Aries.
possessive about it. Like,
Yeah.
step away from my woman, dude.
So it's good stuff.
So he warns that these gods will keep coming after the kid.
She'll need his help.
And the next time, you're definitely going to need my help. And then he pieces out, teleports away.
And then Gabs looks a little shaken by that.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Well, yeah, we know that that's
It's
like
scary.
her worry
Yeah.
all the time. But then it's funny because then you have Xena doing her trademark.
I felt something.
She does the licking the lips thing. The like I need a cold shower kind
She also
of thing.
makes that little disgusted face.
Yeah. But she felt something.
Not happy with herself.
And it's such a great record scratch moment for Gabs.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, she's
What?
in her smug happy place still, and she's just like,
So then Cyrene brings Eve over.
Yeah, and then Xena is like LOL at Gabs for, I think she says like cutting it fine or something. She just kind of is like, hey, you cut it a little too close.
She was running out of foreplay.
Yes.
She was running out of foreplay. Yeah,
I almost had to go through with it.
Yeah, like oh. And then Gabrielle's like, well, someone needs to invent like a better timekeeping device so that like that won't happen.
Synchronize our elaborate cause better.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know our games that we like to play.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Gabs needs a watch.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so that's like when Cyrene found out that everything.
Yeah, Cyrene hasn't been informed that this is a long con.
Also, it seemed like I know Gabs was like supposed to set off this explosion, but like Xena says like the bomb like it was like a little much, which I thought was kind of hilarious because I feel like if it was supposed to be like a tiny thing that happened, like Gabrielle was just like, no, I'm gonna blow this motherfucking shit up.
She did. Yeah.
Like,
So Cyrene finds out that this was all like their con, and then she goes, "What am I gonna do with the two of you?"
such a weird
reaction. Funny Cyrene.
LOL.
She's right though. It's all very creepy and odd as a plan.
It's such a funny.
I sort of want to scold them too.
I thought this was such a funny like sitcom ending.
Yeah,
she's like, "What am I gonna do with you guys?" And then
seducing people together in a coordinated effort.
But then they literally leave her standing there in the middle of the square.
Alone. They walk off.
They just walk off.
And I should note here that this is actually the last time they will see Cyrene.
Oh no!
So spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Oh no!
Think about that.
That's terrible.
Spoiler alert. If you're watching along, I don't know how many people are actually watching along. But yeah, one of the things that comes to mind in this episode is just this idea of like saving Amphipolis and all this stuff. Where I'm just like, all right,
you certainly saved it.
You did it. Good job.
Forever.
Totally.
It's gonna be fine now.
Oh.
Sad. But yeah, I mean, we'll see Darian tackle again a little bit. But this is really her last major episode, and what a way to go out.
I mean,
She was fabulous here.
Shipping Xena and Gabs.
Xena and Gabs, scolding them sitcom mom style, interrupting Xena in the middle of sex, singing the Marseillaise. Good shit.
Yeah.
Good shit.
So when they leave her kind of standing there for no reason in the middle of the square, Gabs is like, hey, did I hear you previously say that you felt something?
And now Xena denies it. She protests too much.
Yeah, and then says, yeah, I protest too much. I did. And Gabs is like, what? And like then it's like,
and
oh,
that's
wow, the end of the episode.
Again, weird, because it actually is a really complicated situation that Xena does have feelings for Ares, maybe just sexy feelings, but then again, he's willing to put everything on the line to save the baby. And oh, it's just so complicated. I do think this is something that begins to happen in seasons 5 and 6, which is that you see Xena making these decisions, and I kind of want to argue with her about them. Like, is this really the best? Is this the nicest thing you could do? Is this the greater good? I don't know.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I mean, Ares still sucks. I'm not like saying he like deserves Xena's love, but you do just feel bad in your gut that she's using him this way.
And I like that. I like that it's so many complicated feelings arise from this versus like how it first started, which was just like, well, whatever.
Yeah. So the combination of the way that she's manipulating Ares and the way that she, came between this nice like love affair between Athena and Elena's. Like you come out of this episode feeling, not entirely happy with Xena.
Yeah, it was a very complicated situation, very rough one.
I do like that you get this brief moment when we're fading out of her, like, lifting the baby.
It was really cute.
Real sweet.
Yeah, it was really cute. Yay, it wasn't a dolly. It was a real baby. So, yeah, that was Amphipolis Under Siege.
Oh, it's so nice to have RJ back.
Yeah. Oh,
this
gosh.
This is like a whole nother show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was also really interesting. I really thought that, like, half of this episode was focused on Athena and half of it was focused on Ares.
Yeah.
Like, there's, like, literally in the
That's really
midway
true.
point is when she starts doing stuff with Ares.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's a really important episode for him. Mm-hmm. It's really a turning point, I think, in where your loyalty lies.
Yeah.
And what this character can do in a plot. So, yeah, big deal.
Good stuff. All right, well, we did it.
Cool.
Follow
good.
us. Follow us on the stuff.
Yeah, you can find all the stuff at XenaWarriorPodcast.com. We are on Apple Podcasts where you can subscribe and rate and leave reviews and stars and things, which we always love to get. And we are on Twitter at XenaWarriorPod, on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr, Xena Warrior Podcast, and Patreon, patreon.com/Xena Warrior Podcast.
The power.
The passion.
The podcast!